Hey guys, how are you? It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. Like I said, it is great to be with all of you here on Inspirations for Your Life. So really grateful to have everybody here with me. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Maybe you guys are thinking about different things. So hopefully you've had an amazing time today with friends and family and whatnot, right? Hopefully you have, whether you celebrate Easter or you celebrate Passover, whatever it is. I hope that it was a fantastic and a magical day for everyone here that has been watching before in the past. You can always check out all my amazing content, guys, at believemeachieve.com. That is believemeachieve.com. That's where you can find more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations right there on believemeachieve.com. So it is great to be with everyone here on the show. Wonderful to have everybody here with me. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you've had a wonderful day. Do be sure to understand that our master topic of the week is Speak to Be Heard. And our granular topic for tonight, incidentally, is a really good one. It's mastering, yes, it is mastering the art of clarity, tone, and pacing. Series 4, Show 17, Episode number 2. I'm your host, everyone, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You know, it's always such a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you here on the Inspirations for Your Life show. Thank you so much again for being here with me. Really do appreciate that. Maybe you want to go head over to the kitchen if you're still hungry. I know I'm not after having a very big lunch, dinner. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm not only a podcast host, but I'm also a podcast coach. I invite you to grab something from the kitchen, something yummy, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, or maybe just some water, and head on back. All right, everyone. I'm not only a coach, but I'm also a host, and I'm very passionate about what I believe in. And I think it's important, it's true for you as well, and that when you speak with clarity and intention and presence, you don't just communicate, you command and connect with the room and the people you're with. In today or tonight's episode, I'm diving deep into the core of impactful communication, clear enunciation, effective tone, and masterful pacing. These tools are the difference between being heard and being remembered. Whether you're leading a meeting, maybe you're sharing some type of a situation, like it could be anything. It could be maybe it's a story, maybe you're motivating a team, or maybe how you speak is important to you, but it actually shapes how you're received. So get ready, everyone, because your voice is going to be your new superpower. That's right, guys. Your voice is going to be your new superpower. I think that's something that is so very amazing, everyone. All right, so let's get into number one, right? Clear enunciation builds listener trust and prevents misunderstandings. Um, there was a time I delivered a live workshop, and a participant told me afterward, I almost zoned out. I couldn't understand half of what one speaker said before you. That stuck with me. The truth is, when you enunciate clearly, people don't have to guess what you're saying. They can follow your messages effortlessly. And more importantly, trust that you respect them enough to speak with care. Clear enunciation eliminates confusion and makes even complex topics accessible. It's not about sounding perfect, it's about making your words land with clarity and confidence. Let me say that again: clarity and confidence. Clarity and confidence. And I know that sounds like something that's a little bit hard to understand, but it is the truth, guys. It's absolutely the truth. And that truth will set you free. But you have to realize that it's got to come from your truth. It's got to come from who you are inside of you. And hopefully they'll stick with you guys. So, clear enunciation, remember, open your mouth wide. Make sure you can say the things clearly. We talked about tongue twisters the other day. And remember, you don't have to sound perfect. It's about making your words land with clarity and with confidence. Well, that's only the first point, guys. We still have a lot more. By the way, in case you were wondering, this is actually series four. Yes, series four, and it is show 17, and we're on episode number 2. Wow. Proper tone enhances emotional connection and audience engagement. I remember early in my career, I once gave a technical presentation where I stuck to just the facts. I nailed the info, but the room was cold, no engagement, no spark. I realized later on, it wasn't the content, it was my tone. The same message delivered with a more human, upbeat tone drew people in at my next session. So, tone is how people feel your words are coming off to them. It's whether you're connecting with the emotions of their lives, whether you're expressing excitement, empathy, or urgency. Tone builds the emotional bridge between you and your listener. But I think a lot of people, they get stuck with what tone is, right? They get stuck with what tone is. And when they get stuck with what tone is, they don't really know what to say about tone, right? They don't know what to say about tone. And I think the reason they don't know what to say about tone is because it's something that's very, very important, guys. And it can shape your life. That's pretty powerful, if you ask me. Pretty powerful, right? Um, Being powerful and knowing that you can make a huge difference, okay? But what does it mean to us? It has to do with our level of communication, okay? And if we understand our level of communication, then we're able to connect with people at a much deeper level, a much deeper level, a level that maybe we didn't think existed, okay? That's pretty cool, guys. Really cool. And so thinking about communication is not something you have to do, but something that you want to do, I feel will change the dichotomy to how you are perceived in life. You might say, John, what is that going to do for me? Well, it's going to do boatloads for you. Because when you understand who you are and you understand where you're coming from, life just sort of gets, but life just gets not just more interesting, but life gets more, how can I say this? Life gets more purposeful. Life gets more purposeful. And so when we think about life being more purposeful, right? I think that's a huge, huge thing. Okay. I know that you're probably saying to me, hey, John, like, I don't quite get what purposeful means. Well, purposeful is basically what you have in your life and why you do something, right? Why you do something. And if we know what something is, then maybe we're able to make a difference. Okay? Maybe we are. And then again, we might not be able to either. Okay? That sounds like something that's a little bit crazy if you ask me, but it's absolutely the truth. Does that make sense, everybody? And hopefully, you can understand that life really matters. Life really matters. Um, I think when we realize the purpose for something, okay, then we're able to do the right thing. And hopefully that means something to everyone here. I'm hoping it does, right? But then again, it may not. Then again, it may not. And so, what does it mean in our eyes? Like, what does that actually mean? I think it means that we have an ability to move forward. Okay. And that ability is about who we are, what we do. All right. Number three is pacing. Pacing affects comprehension. Too fast overwhelms, and too slow starts to lose people's interest. Losing people's interest. That's like something that's crazy, right? I think if we understand what pacing is, then we can understand where things are. We can understand like where things would be. And so if you understand that it's about your purpose in life, okay? Your purpose in life. And your purpose in life is to communicate with a message. With a message. And that message might be something that you don't quite understand like right away. Like maybe you're kind of lost by it, right? Or maybe you just don't understand the direction of it. Then you have to kind of nurture it a little bit, right? So pacing is important. Once during a conference, I got overexcited and zipped through my slides. So at that time, it was slides. It wasn't really an online presentation. Like it was racing the clock. The audience was left blinking, lost, and politely nodding. I learned the hard way that speaking too fast leaves your message behind. On the flip side, dragging out your delivery bores your audience. The sweet spot is a moderate rhythmic pace, around 140 to 160 words per minute. That tempo lets your ideas kind of naturally breathe and your listeners can stay engaged. Now, of course, this was a long time ago, but I always feel that I can get better at my presentations, at what I'm doing. And you might be saying to me, "Hey, John, this sounds like really amazing." But the question you might be asking is, how does all this work? And I think the way you can realize if it works is by going back and starting to realize, is this the right thing? Okay. Is this the right thing? And if it's the right thing, then maybe you're able to like make a huge difference. Like maybe, right? Maybe you're able to make a huge difference. And so when you're able to make this huge difference, you can make so much happen in your life, right? And that's all by just being cognizant of the pace and the speed. Number four, guys, is combining enunciation, the tone, and the pacing, which creates a powerful, intentional communication. You might notice in the show, a lot of times I will deliberately pause, like I just did now, because I want you to get the true message of what I'm saying. I want you to understand that some words have more weight than other words, right? I know so many speakers that blow past things so quickly and they don't really know what's going on. They don't understand what's going on. They don't care what's going on. That's an ultimately terrible, terrible thing. All right. It's so terrible that I feel a lot of people will get sidetracked. And then the message that they have is like going to go nowhere, right? It's going to be diffused. So think of these elements like a trio alone. They're helpful, but together they're transformative. At one networking event that I was at a long time ago, I met someone whose speech was deliberate, warm, and paced just right. I remember thinking this person could read the dictionary and still captivate me. That's the power of combining enunciation, tone, and pacing. You don't just speak. I read for my church quite frequently every other week, and like today, I read for Easter Sunday. When you choose to make the words just dance and come off the paper, it changes your life and everyone else's. Right? And I think that's important to understand how we say those words. And so that's the power of combining enunciation, tone, and pacing. You don't just speak, you command attention from your audience. The synergy between these tools makes your message land stronger and your presence is more memorable and, of course, more engaging. Now, maybe you've been at a presentation before and maybe it didn't go the way you want. And that could be because of something that was said or maybe something that was not said, right? That could be the whole reason. Right then and right there. Number 5, guys. Strategic pauses highlight key ideas and give your words time to land, like I said before. A well-placed pause is like a spotlight on your message. I once paused for 3 seconds after a powerful quote during a speech. I paused a couple times there, didn't I? And in those moments of silence, you could just now feel the shift. Strategic pauses give your audience a moment to reflect, absorb, and emotionally connect. I do this with the readings all the time. A couple of reasons I do it. One, I want to make the impact, but a lot of times I'm looking down, but then I'm looking up. And I need a second or two to come back and down. But I like to connect after every couple sentences with my audience, with the congregation in this case. These pauses signal importance without shouting. And when done correctly, they can be more impactful than the words themselves. Number 6, breathe. Remember 4, 7, 8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Do that a few times. Breathing control supports smoother pacing and reduces nervous energy. So why not do that right now? I think that's something that could be extremely, extremely powerful. I used to speak so fast during early interviews that I'd run out of breath mid-sentence. Then I learned about diaphragmatic breathing. That changed everything for me. Breathing isn't just for staying alive, it's your voice's anchor. Intentional breathing helps manage nerves, pace your speech, and add a presence that's unique to you. Now, before I speak, I take a few deep breaths. I do it so naturally, I don't even remember it, right? And I take these few deep breaths, and it not only helps me, but it grounds me. And it lets my voice flow, not rush out of my lips or mouth. I think so many people are in a rush to get off the stage. And this happens because they don't understand, like, why somebody is a certain way. Why? And that why could be something very simple. That why could be the fact that maybe you don't understand, right? What is that why about for you? I think the why is about what keeps me on track, right? What keeps me on track? What makes me connected? What makes someone else want to pay attention to my content. That's pretty amazing, right? So we've learned quite a few things here today. Number 7, matching tone to context shows emotional intelligence and it demonstrates respect. And I think if you understand that, then maybe you'll not only be able to communicate more effectively, but you'll also find that your communication is going to take on a whole different life of its own, a life that maybe you didn't realize. Okay. Maybe something that you didn't realize could do that. And if you could change how something works in your life or how you respond, I think that is a major win for everybody. Once I gave a passionate pitch to a boardroom, only to realize my tone was too casual for the setting. It wasn't what I said, but how I said it that missed the mark. Matching your tone to the situation is an act of respect and awareness. Whether you're dealing with delivering a serious news message or celebrating success, tone should align with your message and the audience. It shows emotional intelligence and people will notice it. So do a little homework. This was again in my very beginning days of my career that um, I was eager to go to the meeting, but I didn't properly prepare. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't think it was necessary. But you know what happened? The more that I got into this groove, the more I realized I need to check my audience first, right? That's a very, very important thing. So it's important for us to know that. Number 8, practicing speech clarity. It improves confidence and credibility over time. Don't worry about giving a perfect speech or giving a perfect presentation because you're going to make a mistake. It's going to happen. I used to stumble when I had to do a public speech for something that was like very specific. But every day I'd read a paragraph aloud slowly and clearly. It was very unique in the format I had to follow. It was not a generic format. Over time, it started to click, and I became more confident not just in how I spoke, but in who I was when I spoke. Practicing clarity is like lifting weights for your voice. It builds confidence, credibility, and it delivers command. And when you believe in your words, others will too. Number 9, recording yourself helps identify and correct clarity issues. That's key, guys. Very key. Recording yourself helps identify and correct clarity issues. When I first heard my recorded voice many years ago, I cringed. Do I actually sound like that? But those early recordings were a gift to me. They showed me where I rushed, I mumbled, or I lost impact. Recording yourself is like watching a replay in sports. It reveals your strengths and the blind spots. And with regular feedback, you can refine your rhythm, your pronunciation, and tone until your voice becomes your greatest tool. But make no mistake, this is not going to happen overnight, folks. Not going to happen overnight. I'm so sorry to tell you that. It is not going to happen overnight. Does that make sense to everybody? Hope it does. Maybe that makes some sense to you. it doesn't. Maybe. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're stuck in a certain pathway. Maybe you're lost in where you are at the moment. But you can change that, guys. You can change that. Number 10, and that is vocal warm ups. Prepare both your voice and your mind to speak effectively. Before every keynote or podcast, I spend a few minutes warming up, humming lip trails and light tongue twisters. It wakes up my vocal cords and focuses my mind just like athletes stretch before a race. Speakers need to prep their instrument, right? I think that's important. Communication is an art, folks, and every word you speak can shape how you're seen and felt and remembered. When you master enunciation, tone, pacing, and all the tools we discussed today, you don't just improve how you talk, you elevate how you connect smartly. Small, breathe, practice, and pause. Small steps. Then watch your message land louder and clear. Remember, louder doesn't mean that you are speaking with a louder voice. It means you're being clear, that you're delivering the message in a different way, that it's hitting people differently. Your voice is more than sound, it's your story, your strength, your signature. Embrace it. Learn how to use your voice. So many people have a voice, but they never take the time to learn how to use it. Why don't you take the time to learn how to use it? And if you do, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised in how your voice can make a difference. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always a privilege, pleasure to want to be with you guys in these amazing days, afternoons, evenings. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And guess what, guys? I'm going to catch you guys on another show real soon or another piece of content. See you soon, everyone.